Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. So in this video I'm just going to go through the latest EZA stages that were added to the game for Dyspo and Toppo. So these two units, just to get off the bat, are pretty good. I think they're both suited to different kinds of content. You're going to be looking at Toppo as more a support for short-term events, whereas Dyspo is definitely a kind of longer format card. He definitely is aimed at the longer types of events. But I mean, yeah, so to take a look at the units just briefly off the bat, you get Toppo, who becomes attack and defense 70%, all allies key +1 and attack and defense +40%, and he reduces all enemies defense by 70%, and then he also has defense reduction when your health is below a certain threshold. And then Dyspo gets a bit of a strange one. He stacks attack and defense 50% on his EZA, which is pretty good. And then he gains evasion each turn up to a max of 60%, and he gains 20% attack after each dodge. So, yeah, Dyspo is definitely going to be interesting when I take a look at him in the unit review videos. But we'll see from there how he performs and where we're going to go from there. In terms of the actual event, so from what it seems, or well, from what I know, it is Universe Survival Saga category teams that do the additional damage or aren't affected by the damage reduction, I should say. And it's going to be agility, tech, and strength type teams that are going to be able to maximize damage in the final rounds. Yeah. So we'll be able to take a look at how we do there and just how the whole stage goes. Obviously, units I would recommend, if you have them, just kind of go with the Goku, go with the Toppo, go with the Strength Jiren, go with the Dyspo, otherwise go with the Caulifla and Kale combinations. They're pretty good, obviously just for being able to evade damage. And also the Strength Kale and the Tech Caulifla also fulfill the damage requirements. Otherwise, if you have the LR Kale and Caulifla, or you have the LR Jiren, or you're lucky enough to have those units, definitely take them. They're probably for the best. As my friend lead, I always took a Tech Jiren. He does a lot of damage and can basically insta-shot the Dyspo at any point of time, so it's really nice to have him along. And then obviously, in terms of the Jiren, of the Toppo, it's best to just kind of hit him with any agility or any of the other units that you have. That's probably the best strategy to go with. So just looking at the units in general, having used them, I think overall what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to awaken both. They really fulfill nice niche slots on the Universe 11 category. They're really good for the Universe 11 category. They fulfill, obviously, there's only 6 units for that team. So if you have Jiren and you want to use your Jiren on a Universe 11 team, definitely put in Toppo and Dyspo. In terms of links, so the problem with Toppo as a support is he shares great key links with Universe Survival Saga units and Tournament of Power units. He has pretty crap key links for everything else, but he makes up for it a bit obviously with his one key from the support passive and just from being good regardless. And Dyspo is very similar. He links fantastically with the Intelligence Toppo that's from the Jiren banner. He links great with Strength Toppo. He links okay with Strength Jiren. And that's kind of it. His links are a bit wacky. They're all over the place because they're all Pride Troopers. They kind of have like a weird mixture of links. They got like Shocking Speed. They got Heroes of Justice. They're like very similar to like the Great Saiyaman units and that. So they can link somewhat okay there, especially Dyspo, and they would work okay on a signature pose team with units like the 3 free-to-play Peppy Girls units, the Brianna and those units. But yeah, they got an interesting link set. So they're really limited. They're really limited in categories as well. They only have Universal Survival Saga, Universe 11, and Signature Pose. And then Toppo has Realm of Gods, and Jiren has Realm of Gods, and the LR Jiren has full power. So you are really, really, really like low on categories, so to say. As you progress throughout the EZA, you'll notice that the enemy will change. It will go from Toppo to Dyspo, back to Toppo to Dyspo again, and then afterwards you'll fight both of them from stage 20, and then that's it until the end. So it's not too hard, really. It's not anything too major. Honestly, they don't even do that much damage to you. I was taking like attack, type disadvantage supers from them, with like Dyspo hitting a strength unit and Toppo hitting a physical unit, and it just really wasn't doing that much damage. So I mean, to be fair, my teams were pretty good, but overall it doesn't seem like it's too much of an issue of a stage. So I think EZAing them will be quite straightforward and quite useful and quite easy to do. So you should be perfectly fine from that aspect. I can't see you having any problems or anything. So yeah. But just in terms of the whole, like, back to the units and everything, they link great with Jiren. They're super helpful with his team. Toppo is like one of his best linking partners. Toppo links almost perfectly with the Toppo as well. So having him there is super useful for your Jiren and your Universe 11 team, especially with his big support buff and everything. And then, yeah, I mean, him and Dyspo themselves are a great pair. So if you're looking for a pairing to run on like a super team for SBR, or you want to run like a signature pose hybrid with your Go tanks, or you want to, just have a different rotation on a Universal Survivor Saga team, then you can definitely use both of these units. They're really good for that. So it'll be nice to see. Dyspo could be good for extreme SBR. I know Toppo is pretty decent for extreme SBR, especially the monotype strength. Dyspo could be good for extreme SBR. It's going to be quite dependent on whether you manage to get some luck with his evasion and he manages to get some additionals. If he manages to additional like the first rotation and gets in a dodge or something, then he's going to have decent defense. And by the third turn, if you get him in first slot, by the fifth turn you have 60% evasion. He'll be quite well stacked up, so he should be fine. But other than that, he's really going to have issues. I think he links quite well with the Fitboo, so definitely keep that in mind as an option. And then just kind of see where you go from there. As you can see on the screen, obviously Toppo and Dyspo are now fighting us both together. So yeah, they're at this point immune to stunning, immune to stealing, immune to attack reduction, all the usual sort of things that end up happening in these EZAs. So don't panic or anything. Just make certain, basically, if you take a friend Jiren lead, you will be fine. Like I say, he basically eliminates the Dyspo, which means you can just use all your other units, focusing on the Toppo, and you should be able to take him out and control everything from there. But yeah, in terms of usefulness, I would probably rank the Toppo higher than the Dyspo, due to the fact that they have such limited categories. Dyspo being kind of a main rotation unit almost. I know people say, oh, you can run them in third slot, but being a main rotation unit that you want to stack attack and defense each turn, so you can keep up a 6-turn buff. A unit that you want to have keep building up his attack by being up every turn and getting that 20%, and then obviously having the ability to evade and all that, means that Dyspo's at a bit of a disadvantage until either more Universe 11 units come out, until more categories come out that he can be on, or until he gets like alternative linking partners, like on the signature pose. Maybe he gets like a Berta, like an EZA Berta, or a like sub DFE Berta that he can link with, or a Jace or something, so that there's just more options for him to roll with. Because until then, he's gonna struggle, just due to the whole fact that running Toppo as a main rotation unit, although you can, isn't necessarily the most beneficial. And obviously the teams you can run as a main rotation on are very limited. So yeah, I will jump to the final stage here, so nothing too hard, nothing too difficult again. You'll probably see all of it go down quite quickly. My strategy at this point really was just having Jiren basically eliminate someone, and then having Kale and Kefla eliminate the Toppo essentially. But I mean, like I say, they weren't dealing huge damage, so I really was not too concerned about anything for the most part. So yeah. This Jiren by the way, links very well with a lot of the Tournament of Power units because, you know, hey, they all share Tournament of Power. So there's one nice thing about that kind of units from that era. They all have Tournament of Power, so they all have 3 key. So they just, even the LRs are linking with TRs that they're not supposed to, they don't link well, like Jiren and, you know, a Caulifla. They barely even fought each other or reference each other or anything, but hey, they're sharing a 3 key link, so they work well together. It's just how it is, which is good. It's good for the category, good for the teams. So yeah, and then in terms of rewards, you get the standard rewards, 30 stones, the missions as well. So the missions here are pretty easy and straightforward. They literally just awaken the units to their full awakening and then max out their essays. So in terms of their essays and all that, you get 5 Grand Kai agilities and 5 Grand Kai strengths from this. So you should be able to max these units out if you've already got them to SA 10. Unfortunately, their essays are not farmable, so you will have to just drop cars for them, but you do get 2 cars back. So trading in some grand strength cars or something if you've done SBR recently, and earning out the, you know, elder cars for raising anyone's SA are probably worth it in the long run. Well, not necessarily worth it, but I mean, at least you're getting something back that's marginally more useful. You also do get some hidden potential orbs and all of that, which can help you out. In terms of farming this stage, I wouldn't say it's very farmable. It's not too difficult, but just, yeah, farming this stage is a bit of a nuisance because you have 2 enemies, and whenever you have 2 enemies, it just naturally makes the stage take longer. Rather than farming like the EZA Broly one for money, or farming, you know, the Int Kid Buu one for money, this is just generally a little bit harder. Just because you have to pay more attention to maximize your speed and can't just kind of AFK click while you go up through the rankings. So yeah, we'll take a final look at the units here very briefly. We'll review them in their own video, so there's no need to go in depth or check their numbers or anything like that. Toppo obviously does a boost to everyone else's damage on his SA, which is super duper helpful. And then in terms of equipment, I usually went for an additional build because he's not really going to do that much damage. I mean, yeah, you could crit with him, but if you can get 2 of his supers off, he's really going to bust the rest of the rotation. And then we'll just take a look at some of his links. We'll probably go through this more in depth in the video. And then Dyspo is very similar. We just go through his skill. He's got a slightly better leader skill for me because you can run him as a pseudo agility type lead if you're really struggling for that. And then yeah, in terms of skill builds, I went for additionals as well because obviously he stacks. But yeah, so that's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers and bye.